have a hypothetical question.
All right.
In Matthew 11, it says, if you believe, 11:14, John says, Christ says, if you believe, John the Baptist would have been Elijah. If you'd received, now, if they would have received, he would have been Elisha.
Yes.
My hypothetical question is, would Paul been the Antichrist and saying he breathed out threatenings daily against the church?
No, he can't make that. I'll tell you why. Come to John chapter 17. Although it's a thought, I'll tell you what he could have been. He could have been the false prophet announcing the Antichrist. John 17. Now here's the problem. The problem of the Antichrist identified before Christ dies on the cross. John 17:12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those thou gavest me I have kept, none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And of course the reference is to Judas. Come to John chapter 6. Paul is utterly human, but Judas Iscariot was something else. John 6 verse 70. John 6 verse 70. Jesus answered, have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil? He spake of Judas Iscariot. Now the way that format could have worked as far as Paul goes, and Paul wasn't converted at this time, he's raised and came with them. The way that thing could have worked, if Christ dies and buried and comes up 40 days and 40 nights, goes back, and then in Acts chapter 7, that's the crucial place. In Acts chapter 7, Stephen says, I see the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God, which wasn't true in Acts 2. Peter says he's seated at the right hand of God. And it's not true in Hebrews chapter 3 and 10. He's seated at the right hand. He's sitting down here and sitting down here, but he's getting up here. So he's getting up there to do something. And not much doubt about what he's getting up to do. He's getting up to come and catch out the body. There's going to be a rapture right there, if there's acceptance. And the question he asked was, if there had been acceptance, the body caught out there, then what about Paul? Because old Paul here in Acts 7, 8, and 9 is killing Christians. And if the body had been caught out there, Daniel's 70th week would have started right there. And John the Baptist would have been Elijah, like he said. But in the case you had like that right there, what would happen right there, and that thing right there was the Roman emperor would at that time sign a covenant with the Jews and keep that covenant for 3.5 years. And in that 3.5 years, he'd go from Rome as a man of sin and move to Jerusalem as the son of perdition. And at that time, Judas Iscariot would come up from the bottomless pit and enter that bird, and that bird would become the devil incarnate. And that'd be the Antichrist. That wouldn't be Paul. But Paul could have been the false prophet. He could have heralded him. All right, something else. Nothing like a Bible to clear up a college education.